Hey everybody, this is the OHP podcast, episode number 5. This is our special Halloween episode, which got released today, Halloween.
We tried to do some things with some lights earlier to make it look creepy and spooky, and it didn't work out. So we just
didn't work out. I mean, it was a little
went to
too
the
dark.
dim room.
It is what it is. But today we're talking about Mitch's second movie, which is fitting for this day. It's called Boo. So Mitch, why don't you tell us a little bit about your second movie, how you got started with it?
Alrighty, so the movie was called Boo, and it was a horror movie anthology, kind of like how Bog Anthology was.
Right.
It was very much like that. But the Boo story is very important to me because whenever you are an artist, whether it be a musician or especially a filmmaker, anything like that, you do have successes. You know, we celebrate our successes, but you also have a whole lot of failure.
Right.
And this movie, this project was kind of important to me because it was the one time that something that I worked on never got finished and never got released, and probably never ever will. And it was a roller coaster ride. It really was. It was we've been talking a lot about Ne'er-Do-Wells over the past few episodes, and we finished shooting Ne'er-Do-Wells in August of 2010.
Right.
All right. And I spent the rest of 2010 and like the first 3 months of 2011 working on editing Ne'er-Do-Wells because it was my first time ever editing anything, and I had to learn how to do it. But I was still with Brian Dunn and Delta Movies. That was still the company that like I would consider myself employed by at the time.
Again, shout out Brian.
Brian, fucking genius of a man. And Greg Harveston, wherever you're at out there, buddy. I ain't spoken to you in a while, but I know you out there. Shout out to you, my friend. But Greg had moved on from the company before we finished Ne'er-Do-Wells. So in Delta Movies, it was mainly me, Brian, this guy, Ryan Woolley, and Brian's boyfriend, Chris Presnell. And also...
I remember Chris. Yeah.
After Ne'er-Do-Wells, I brought in Sharky Pinkston. And Sharky was kind of like my right-hand dude for a very long time. So it was mainly just the 5 of us in Delta Movies at the time. Me, Sharky, Ryan, Chris, and Brian.
Okay.
And around summertime of 2011, Brian came to us all and said that he had a cousin named Jim, who was a writer. He does columns for magazines. He had a column in Penthouse for a while.
Okay. I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I recognize the work. Right. And so he said that his cousin Jim had a script for an anthology film, so it was 3 short films, and he had a very modest 5-figure budget set aside from his writing endeavors that he was going to fund it. So I'm like, oh, so we're like going to get like paid to come and shoot and everything? It's like, yeah, we're going to get paid. We're going to go stay in hotels. We're going to have catering, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, oh man, like we moving up, Brian. Yeah. Like this is all right. It's legitimacy time. Let's do this. And yeah. So we started pre-production for it, and the scripts that Jim had were really good. This was the first time I'd ever like directed something that I didn't write. You know what I'm saying? And the way we had the crew set up, it was Daniel was director of photography. Daniel. Brian was director of photography, and my parachute co-director. I was directing. Sharky was the gaffer, and Chris Presnell was the sound guy, Ryan was pretty much kind of like floating around.
Kind of interested in what actors you used in that movie.
Strangely enough, Brian hired a casting director.
Really?
And like we did these like big like auditions, but some of them were this is kind of like this is 2011, so like Zoom wasn't a thing, but you could still do like video calls online. Right. And so like I remember we went to like I want to say it was ULM or something like that, and we were in a big room and we had people come and audition, and it was the casting director and me and Brian, and
I bet you felt like this is.
Oh yeah, I felt legit. This is
about to happen.
I felt legit as fuck, man. Like I was. Right. So 2011. How old was I? I was. So I turned 20 in 2007. So
27.
I was.
Yeah.
In 2011.
Oh, that's 4 years. So you're 24.
I was 24.
Right.
I was still pretty young, and so yes, this movie felt like I was 100% like legit. And we did have a stellar cast. Originally, Hunter Begley from Ne'er to Wells was cast in one of the shorts, and he actually came and did a weekend of filming with us.
Okay.
But his stuff ended up not getting used in the movie at all. We ended up coming back and reshooting stuff with another actor because Jim and Brian found these other guys that were just really good, and Hunter had moved back to North Carolina at that point. So it was been too much to get him to come back to do the remaining days. It was just easier just to use the people that we had and reshoot the stuff. That wasn't a call that I made, but it was strange because even though I was like the co-director and helping produce everything, Brian and Jim very much were in charge. I still was kind of, anything that they said really kind of went. I was just along for the ride and doing what I did best in problem solving on set, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I think that's the one of the tools and one of the things that I shine in the most is whenever there's a problematic set, I'm really good at just walking in and be like, all right, we'll do this, this, and this, and it'll work. Just do it. I promise it'll just work. And
right.
And that this set was definitely like that in the sense, but I'll get to that in a minute. The first short in the movie was also called Boo.
Okay.
Like it was Boo, Happy Birthday Daddy, and The Message. Those were the three shorts. Boo was about a John Wayne Gacy serial killer clown.
Okay.
That was
like Terrifier.
Yeah, kind of like Terrifier, but the Art the Clown was instead a 6'4", 420-pound monster, which was Charles. This is where I first met Charles Nail from Bogman and Sea of Madness. The big guy, Nash.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
This was whenever I first met Charles, and I'll get to that story here in a second, because it's one of the funnier stories that I have, to be honest with you. So we were going to shoot the three shorts in consecutive order that they were going to be in the movie. So we were going to do Boo first, Happy Birthday Daddy, and then The Message. And the producer Jim owned this cabin and this land out in Brookhaven, Mississippi. So we all loaded up and went out to Brookhaven and spent 2 weekends out there filming that stuff. And we were having a very hard time trying to find our clown for the movie, because it's a John Wayne Gacy type clown, so like he's hunting down these boys for his sexual gratitude. He's snatching these boys up and he's doing terrible things to them out at his hunting camp. And he's hunting down deer hunters, like specifically spotlight night hunters that go out and throw the spotlight in the deer's eyes and shoot them. He's out there hunting those hunters that are hunting the deer. It's I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, that's
I really enjoyed that script in particular. The Happy Birthday Daddy script I also very much enjoyed. I was not a fan of the third short, The Messenger. It just felt like Jim had blown his load on his first two stories, and then there was just this
something he threw together
ghost story, over here. But the Boo thing I thought was great. I loved the concept, and we had to find our gay clown, our clown that that prefers to kidnap boys and do things to them. And we had a number of big, burly, redneck dudes that showed up to auditions. And, we had to do this thing in the audition that's like, you've got to be comfortable in this role touching another man in a sensual way. Like, you've got to be comfortable with that to make this work. And so I was the dummy. I just laid down on the couch, and it was just like, all right, he is an unconscious body that you have tied up and kidnapped. What are you going to do? And really, we were just looking for I wasn't trying to get groped by a bunch of men, but we were just looking for anybody that was fearless enough to at least try, I had already, me and Brian had spoken. I was like, listen, as soon as they do something inappropriate, I'll stop it, but we have to see if they're at least willing to just go and do it, because if they're not willing to go and do it right now, we're not going to be able to get them to do it on camera, and it's going to look like shit. And I sat there and laid on that couch with like 7 big redneck burly dudes that just stood over me looking down nervous as hell, like, I don't know if I can do this, actually. And not a single one touched me. They actually would just leave. They're like, all right, we're out. And then Charles came in. He was the last one. And I was just like, I just been laying there like, all these dudes are a bunch of fucking, they're so manly they can't, release their ego for a second to act.
Right. It's not real.
It's not real. And so when I saw Charles, this huge 6'3", 6'4", 420-pound dude walk in, I'm like, it's just going to, like, he has the look. He looks great. But I'm like, he's going to be like all the rest of these dudes. And, so whenever we did the audition, I just kind of laid back and closed my eyes and just waited to hear him go, all right, guys, I can't do this. That's my whole thing. So I just laid there and closed my eyes. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just feel him grab my nuts. He just just gets them. And he shakes them. And he goes, ain't much there. And he drops it. And I'm so taken aback that I'm like, oh, shit. And then he snatches up my shirt and puts his face down by my nipple like he's about to start sucking it. And as soon as his fucking, he got so close to the areola, I was like, okay, all right, dude, you got the part. You got it. I didn't even talk to Brian, and it was like, you got it. You have the part.
Damn.
You're the clown. And Charles has been one of my favorite actors to work with ever since.
Okay.
Another really fun story from the shoot. In the script, the hunter, he's out in the woods, he's got the flashlight, he's already checked his camera, and all that, and he hears something, and he's looking around with the light and the gun, and he hears more rustling, he spins and he turns, and there's the clown in full makeup and a fucking one jumper, and he's just jerking off looking at him.
Okay, then.
And so whenever we're shooting that scene, Charles is in the bushes and he has to pantomime masturbating. And I kind of was like, I'm about to get this dude back for the shit during the audition, So on action, he's just supposed to start jerking it. And he's not really jerking it.
Right,
he's just pantomiming it with his hand in his thing. And I let it go and go. And go to where he fake comes, he goes, oh, and then I never call cut, so he just looks around and starts going again. And like Sharky turned and looked at me in the middle of the second time that he was starting it up again. And he's like, "Are you gonna call cut on this?" And I'm like, "Let's see if we can get him to come again." And he didn't, and I called cut. And but that was a whole lot of fun. That whole shoot was a whole that one in particular was a whole lot of fun, because all of the actors that we had came in through the natural auditions and people that Brian and Jim found, and not so much through the casting director. Most of those actors came in during the second and third short, but the first short was still very much like our homies and personal choices type thing. So you know what it's like filming with me out in the woods. You know, I like to have a lot of fun. And so that was kind of where we were out in the woods. We were out in the middle of nowhere. No one could tell us what to do. We could, just as long as we got the shots and got it done, we could do it however we wanted to.
Right.
But, also within Brian's parameters, Brian is a very anal gentleman. He has very particular ways that he likes to do things, and he's very particular and protective of his camera and equipment and stuff, well beyond just the normal carefulness that everyone would have with their cameras. So it wasn't like as fast as like the Open Heart Productions would shoots. Right. It was a little bit slower, but like I needed to know that way so that I could do it my way. If that makes any sense. Like if you're going to work on watches, you at least need to know how the watch is made before you start getting in there and fucking around with shit.
I got to say though, being on set with you guys and doing these movies we've been working on, man, we get that shit done. It's so fast. We run into problems this last week, and we just turned it all around and kept going.
If you notice that, like, it takes us forever to get going.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of that. That's why when y'all put 8 o'clock on the schedule, I was like, they ain't gonna be shooting 8.
I know we're not, but I need everybody there at 8 so that we can be shooting by 11:30.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's definitely a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah, like you're getting there and it's just waiting for everybody, and then you start setting up, and then once you start setting the equipment up, you're waiting for the actors, and then when the actors show up, you got to block out the scene. And the crew members have to watch the blocking so that we can make sure that our camera shots are still good. And then, we got to make sure that the lighting is set up and good. Make sure all the actors are laved up and the mics are ready. We're like an old 80s Buick that you have to kind of just crank the fucking engine and get it fucking going. And you got your buddy out there shaking it and pushing it, trying to get it going.
But once we do get going,
it fucking cranks up.
It fucking goes. Damn, we shoot things.
What was the quote that I kept saying? I'll shoot on about speed.
I can't remember.
Ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous speed. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like we are beyond light speed now, guys. We are going ludicrous speed. We're going to plaid.
But we get it done.
Yeah,
and we get better at it every time.
Mm-hmm. So with the Boo movie, after we were shooting very much how like we were doing like The Rake and Bog Anthology like on weekends. You know what I'm saying? Like we did 2 weekends down in Brookhaven to get all of Boo. And then we came back and started editing and doing pre-production for the second short immediately, which we were in the 2012 by this point. Right. Easily. Like we started shooting in December of 2011 and shot until May of 2012. Okay. So it was like a solid 6 months of shooting. But it wasn't like non-stop shooting. We would...
Not like us, and we shoot a whole week and we're done.
Yeah, like, well, we were doing pre-production for like a month or two, and then doing 2 weekends of shooting back to back, and then doing another month or two of pre-production, and then shooting Happy Birthday Daddy in 1 weekend over in I want to say Vicksburg, Louisiana. It was at this very beautiful Victorian style home that apparently it was used to house wounded and dying Confederate soldiers in the basement of the house.
Okay.
And we were also like sleeping in the house. Like, it was a big house, you know, it had a lot of rooms, and it had that nice basement in the bottom. And the crazy thing about that basement is because this whole thing is like a national, it's not monument, but like, you know, it's a very significant historical value, and it had a dirt floor, and we were going to need to put blood down there, and the people that were taking care of the house were adamant that there could not be any fake blood on that dirt floor. So we had to send in a crew of about 3 guys. I don't remember who they were. I know that Sharky was like leading it, managing it, and like, you know, making sure it got done. But there was like 2 or 3 other guys, and they laid down plastic all over that dirt earth floor of that basement, and then brought in other dirt and dumped the dirt on the plastic to put another layer of dirt floor down so that we could do the fake blood and everything like that.
Okay.
And it was the first time that I'd ever been a part of something that intricate. You know,
yeah,
like,
it's kind of a lot. That's a lot of work just to do that.
Yeah, and they were doing that all day while we were throughout the house filming other stuff so that we could get down there and do that. So these 3 or 4 guys have been working on doing that all day and had got it done. We got the actress down there. And this was the moment that I realized there is a difference between Mitch Lang whenever I am paying people to be there and Mitch Lang whenever I am not paying people to be there. Because you've worked with me whenever we're all doing this pro bono. I'm very understanding.
Yeah.
If people have problems and questions or concerns, I am very open to finding solutions to make it easier for them in this time of volunteering that you're doing. Right. Apparently, Mitch Lang, whenever everybody's getting paid, is a little bit different. Like, because the actress that we had, they have the script, so they know what's going to be happening in the script.
Right.
There shouldn't be any surprises. Once you get on the set, you shouldn't be coming up to the director like, "Hey, I didn't know this was going to be happening." Well, why the fuck not?
Why did you read it?
Yeah. And so the actress came up to me and was saying, "Mitch, I don't know if I can do this scene." I'm like, "What do you mean?" "I'm allergic to dirt and dust. And if I get down there on that ground, I'm just going to get an allergic reaction and I'm not going to be able to do it." I'm like, "Allergic to dirt and dust?" Yeah, I just start sneezing and like my eyes start watering. And I'm like, that's all of us. All of us are allergic to dirt and dust like that. It's like, well, I just don't know if I was like, "Hey, what are we paying you to do this?" "Well, $350 a day." "Yeah, $350 a day."
Right.
"So, how about you get down there and put your face in the fucking dirt, pretty fucking please, so that we can get this shit done, because I am tired, please, ma'am." And so she did, and I had to go calm down. That was a very high-strung set. That
the most I've ever heard you holler on set, on any of the sets I've been on with you, is quiet on the set, because somebody wasn't listening.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've ever heard you do.
That's about the only time I've ever been. I goes, "Shut the fuck up!" But it's only after I've said, "Quiet on the set."
And nobody's still...
"Quiet on the set." "Quiet on the set." "Shut the fuck up!" Yeah. That's usually about the progression.
Yeah.
But that whole shoot was nuts. Very high strung, very high tension the whole time. Because we had the casting director there, and the casting director, part of what their job is to kind of be like the advocate of the actors. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I had the casting director bitching at me about me yelling at the actress to put her face in the fucking dirt, and I'm like, I get it, you know.
Put your face in the dirt.
Put your face in that fucking dirt. That was what the script said, you know. So I understand. So that didn't help. The more we shot, Brian started getting upset about a lot of stuff. I don't even really remember what all it was. I remember him and Sharky getting into an argument at some point in time, and Brian just kind of shutting down for the next 3 or 4 takes. You know, and I was just like, everybody take a break. Let's go and fucking calm down a minute, you know, and I only say that because, like, as soon as I got done seeing Sharky and Brian argue, like, we're, like, doing the next shot, and Brian's just kind of just got the camera up. He's not even looking in the viewfinder, and he's just, like, pissed off. You know, I'm like, hey, Brian, is that in focus? Like, yeah, it's good. And as soon as I heard him say that, I'm like, all right, let's go ahead, take a break. We ain't going to get nothing worth a damn at this point. Let's just take 5. And we got it all. That was a really cool story, too. It was about a single dad with a 7-year-old girl who he's trying to find a babysitter for her. And they find this girl. She comes and does an interview with the dad, and he hires her, and he has to go to work, you know, and he leaves her and the kid there. And while her and the daughter, is a little girl, they're by herself, she tells her that she dropped her dolly down in the basement, and she goes down there, don't find the dolly, and as she's walking back up the stairs, the daughter hits her in the face with a fucking baseball bat, locks the door, and calls her dad and lets her know your birthday present's waiting for you when you get home.
Oh, dang.
Another really good story. Like, I was all about that story.
That sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah. And so we got that done in one weekend.
So what are they, like, a psycho kid and dad?
Yeah, like a father-daughter killer couple, you know? Like, he's training her young, you know? That's why the short was called Happy Birthday, Daddy.
Kind of reminds me of that movie, Kick-Ass, with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. I mean,
they were like a crime fighting.
That is also the same level of psychopath, you know? Like, it's the same level of grooming your fucking child, you know?
Still.
So we did that. And then we went back and did another month or two of pre-production. Maybe it was like 6 weeks pre-production, because The Messenger was very much like just a ghost, supernatural type story about a group of kids doing a late night study for a test, and the younger brother upstairs gets possessed by a ghost and like scares the kids, and they run out of the house. Like, it was my least favorite of the 3, you know. Like, I thought it was but I just kind of was like, you know, all these other 2 were so good that this just kind of feels like, you know, whatever. But all right, you know.
Yeah, because I've never really heard that much about this. I knew you had that movie, and it didn't get released,
I was making $600 a day.
Okay.
And I think I worked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days.
Oh, right.
So it was like the most money I've ever made on a
that's
movie.
awesome.
You know.
How would that not get your hopes up? You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, my hopes were up, but the rest of the story happens,
right?
And you learn harsh lessons about the film world and the legal world
and how people are,
and people. Yes, absolutely.
Most people in general are pretty shitty.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it that's the case, but I think that all of humanity, we are a dichotomy of some of the best things possible, and also some of the worst depraved things possible. And I believe that everybody is capable of both. Everyone, all these people that say, "Oh, I could never." Oh, yes, you could. It just mattered about stimulus.
Do you think that it'll ever get a release?
No.
Okay.
There's no way. I don't. And we'll get to that.
Okay.
That last weekend of shooting for The Messenger was the worst. It was the worst relation with the casting director at the time. I don't remember her name. It was also the moment that like Brian and Jim's relationship heavy breakdown, which was so crazy because like Jim made this big deal about bringing the news out there. They did like a story on us as we were filming for that.
Okay.
And also the kid that played the young brother that got possessed by the ghost, he just recently won an audition and played, at the time he hadn't shot it yet, but played young Abraham Lincoln in that Lincoln movie that Spielberg did or whoever.
Okay.
And Jim kind of looked at that and saw money in his eyes, you know. And him and Brian, I don't know the specifics of what contractual legal agreement that they had, but they did have a legal agreement. And while we were doing post-production, like, they argued on set a lot during Messenger, so much so that I pulled them outside and said, guys, y'all, we can't be arguing in front of the cast like this. Like, whatever issues y'all have, get it out right now, because when we walk back in here, we don't need to be arguing in front of the cast. Like, that just looks that makes us look bad. We can't do that. And so we all got it together, figured it out, or thought we had figured it out, and went back in there and finished shooting. And then whenever we got back, Jim told Brian that he wanted all the footage for all the shorts. He had another company that was gonna do post, and he was gonna try to like pivot this thing with the younger actor getting the Spielberg movie to try to like make more money, but basically trying to cut Brian out of it and not pay him the remaining money that he was contractually owed. So Brian was like, no, I am not going to just give you all the footage that we shot. No, I'm not. So then he put like an injunction against Brian. Brian did an injunction against him. We all got deposed. We all had testimony. And then at the end of the day, the judge said that nobody could touch the footage for 10 years. And then that's where it sat. And if you look at the calendar, it's 2025. So that was in 2012. That was 13 years ago. The judgment was for 10 years. Couldn't touch it 10 years. So technically, we could. But Brian's the only one that has any of that footage. Brian stays super, super busy. And
he's a professor.
He's not only is he a professor, but he is an amazing screenwriter. Like, he has written a number of screenplays that have won multiple awards. And that pretty much, that takes up his extra time. Whenever
I feel kind of special. I got to audition in front of him once.
Yep.
I did.
Yep. And so I know the amount of time and effort that it would take, because Brian did tell me that he does have all of that footage still. He says he has it all. It's still stored away somewhere. He'd have to dig for it, but he could find it. But I know the amount of time and effort that it would take to find that footage, get it ready, edit it together, release it. I do not think Brian has that time. And Brian would have to be heavily involved in it to do it. And because I know that he would insist on it being edited on DaVinci, which means that he would be doing all the editing for it. And that he's a very busy guy. I don't see him having the time to do it, to do it justice. You know, not that I don't think that he can. I absolutely think that he can. I think that he would do it a great justice. I don't think he has the time to do it.
Right.
So that's why I very firmly say that I do not think it will ever get released, at least until maybe after Brian retires from being a professor, and you know, he finds himself with more time and finds the footage and gets a wild hair in which I would, hop back in on the train at any point in time. Like, yeah, I'll help you, bud. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm down. I'm always down because, like I said, I've kind of looked at that movie as my biggest failure because it's the only movie that I ever made.
But
that
it wasn't
no
your
one will
fault.
ever see.
It wasn't your fault.
So
it's not your failure.
But the thing is a failure is a failure. It doesn't matter if it's your fault or not. It doesn't matter because sometimes things like that happen in the film world and you just have no control over it.
Okay.
And that was part of the lesson that I learned in this, and I do not regret making that movie at all. Like I said, I got paid more doing that movie than any other movie that I've done.
Can't many people say their second movie they did that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying.
I guess maybe I try not to look at it in that aspect. Sometimes I just I have a hard time seeing the forest for the trees of the past. Sometimes, but I got to meet Charles doing that, and me and Charles have maintained a very close relationship still to this day. Like, even whenever he moved out of state, we still kept in touch every couple of months. To me, he's like family. He's like that cousin, that you don't really talk to a whole lot, but you love just as much. And he's one of those people that I told him that any movie that I make, I'll find you a spot. He was supposed to be in the Bog Anthology. He was supposed to play Bobby's character.
Okay.
He was supposed to be the butcher, but he had some health stuff happen that just he couldn't do it. And the Honey Hole didn't really have a whole lot of open spots. It wasn't that I forgot about him. I never forget about you, Charles. I always am thinking about you about parts. It was just there wasn't a whole lot of open space in Honey Hole.
That. We have so many people reach out to us wanting to be in our movies now, especially since Mr. Hick Cherame came in.
Hick, I love you, dog.
Awesome dude. Yeah, we've
great,
had all
kinds
of SAG afters hitting us up now, trying to be in our movies. Just cool.
We're gonna be out here dodging,
right?
Dodging the motherfucking unions.
Nope, stay
dodging
away.
the unions.
Stay away. Name change.
Yep. Don't give out the whole plot, baby. We got tricks up our sleeves.
But anyways, Boo sounds like it would be a good movie if it was to get released.
Yeah. I know Green Apple said that they would release it should it ever get finished, and I told them, awesome. I'll let you know if that ever happens. But like I said, for the amount of time and involvement that it would take for it to be done right, and for Brian to have to do, I just do not think he has the time, and nor should he really, because he's doing some really cool stuff, and he's getting his name and his product out there. And I know that maybe this, having a movie under your belt also would help, but the thing about momentum is once you have momentum, you can't do anything to break that momentum.
Right.
And the moment you break the momentum, you have no guarantee that you're ever going to get that momentum back. That's part of the reason why I've always just been like, let's go, 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 never stop, never break, because the second that the momentum slows, it's the death knell. So just keep the ball rolling. And I don't have time to sit down with Brian and work on that film. We got Bog Anthology we're still trying to get ready for the distributors. We got Honey Hole that we haven't even started touching yet. Which, by the way, Honey Hole, one of the best acted and shot films that we've ever done.
Yes.
Ever.
Jason Kirkpatrick, Amy McGee Harrell,
David
Hanks.
David fucking Hanks.
Dude, for stepping up and
William
fucking
Enstone.
William
Fucking,
Enstone.
oh my God. The acting in...
And speaking of Jason Kirkpatrick, November 8th, we're going to be at the 2025 Comic-Con in West Monroe Convention Center.
Make sure you go and check it
Mr.
out.
Jason Kirkpatrick from The Walking Dead, Stargirl, Doom Patrol, True Detectives will be with us.
Mm-hmm.
Come get you an autograph, take some pictures.
He's going to have Walking Dead Christmas ornaments.
Yes.
Since Christmas is going to be around the corner after Halloween. So he will sign a Christmas ornament for you from Walking Dead for a small fee.
Yeah, I mean, not that much.
Yeah, and you can come and see us.
He needs gas money.
Yeah, he's doing this. He foregoed a personal appearance fee, so we got to help him out. We got to support. Right. We got to do the thing. We're going to have all kinds of merchandise. We'll have DVDs. Yep. We'll have books. We'll have T-shirts.
We'll have Maddie interviews there.
We'll have Maddie interviews.
Also, we have made a Facebook page for our podcast, so if you would go to Facebook and check that out.
The Shopify site is up, right?
Being worked on.
It's being worked on. It's
close.
We're close.
But we will have it linked to Facebook, so it'll be just as easy. Just go to our page and buy whatever merch you want. DVDs, posters, hats, T-shirts, all that.
You can get links to the Green Apple Amazon versions of the DVDs, but you can also get the Open Heart cut versions of the DVDs.
Right.
We have more permission ourselves to do whatever the fuck we want in our edits and our cuts. Yeah. So there's extra things like the Bogman DVD. You get the Bogman sing-along at the end. You don't get that on the Green Apple DVD.
And what he means is they made a couple little cool videos doing karaoke or whatever, but they're cool. You ought to check them out.
So you can get your pick, whether it be the Amazon official Green Apple release or the Open Heart Director's Cut release. You have, or if you want to get both. You know, you saw that the Sea of Madness DVDs are just about sold out on Amazon.
There was one left.
There was one left.
And there wasn't but like 7 left of the Bogman.
Yeah, so go ahead and get them while you can.
Exactly.
But I know they will restock because that's the business model.
And hey, you can check us out still on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify.
That's right.
And that's Open Heart Productions, all of our movie pages, and the 2 podcasts, Maddie's Interviews and the Open Heart Productions podcast.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Right. And so, hey, happy Halloween, and we hope to see you guys at the Comic-Con.